you see on social media all the time, somebody like has their laptop on the beach and it's like, this is what entrepreneurship is. And I'm like, that is not entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is pulling my butt out of bed at 2 a.m. because I forgot to send a marketing email to someone that I promised by 5. Entrepreneurship is looking at the funds that you should have that you don't have and how you're going to allocate funds going forward to make sure that that exists in the future. Like entrepreneurship is wearing all hats at one time until you can, raise enough funds to actually bring on even a virtual assistant. Entrepreneurship is not glamorous.
Welcome to The Leader's Mindset, where I bring you conversations with leaders who are making an impact in business and our communities. Today, I'm here with Lauren Cashatt. She's the founder of the Million Mile Project nonprofit, among many other really cool endeavors. And we'll try to get to as many of those as possible as we talk today. Thanks for joining us, Lauren.
Hi, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah, we're excited to talk with you today. So I need to start with this one. You were a Hollywood stunt woman. Tell us about that, how you get involved in that. Tell us all about it.
I feel like I've had so many lives. Yes, Hollywood stunt career was definitely one of them. So I grew up a dancer and then in high school got into motorcycles. After high school got into roller derby, and a life of roller derby and stunt motorcycle riding was what led me to the stunt world. And so I am from Columbia, South Carolina. And at the time I was in property management and I was managing a apartment community, and I get a phone call on my cell phone. And at the time, cell phones were widely used, but not acceptable to be out and about at work. So even though I was the manager, I still was like, hi, I get off at 5:30. I'll give you a call back then. And then I called back and come to find out it was a stunt coordinator who was filming a movie in South Carolina. And at the time, a lot of incentives were given if a certain percentage of your crew and your hired work was from the local town. So they were trying to find a stunt woman who was 5'7", dark hair, can skate, not afraid to fall. And as they were searching around town, got my name and number. And so when I called him back, I said, I'm sorry, you're who? From Hollywood? And you want me to do what? And I told you I'd call you back. And so that is what started my stunt career. He hired me to do a movie where I was doubling Jessica Biel as a car hop. And if you don't know what a car hop, it's like Sonic restaurant. You are a server on skates. And so she was a server on skates that got hit by a car. Anyways, that launched my stunt career. At the time, I thought it was a one and done. And then his business partner hired me to do motorcycle stunts in Transformers. And so I finished that job, and that was in Hershey, Pennsylvania at the steel mills, and also in LA. And because I had taken off so much time from work, I had used up all of my vacation time on these 2 stunt jobs. And so I said, well, I don't have a job when I go back home. I live on the property that I work. I don't have a family and kids that I'm providing for. I'm going to move to LA. Like, how many people are banging on doors hoping for an opportunity to be a stunt woman in LA? And here 2 jobs have fallen in my lap. So I said, I'm moving to LA in 6 weeks. So I counted the weeks. It landed on August 3rd of 2008. I'd shipped my car, packed all my belongings, and flew to LA. And I was just thrown into the stunt world just like that.
Did you have a favorite stunt you ever did?
My favorite one was probably the motorcycle stunts and Transformers. The stunt that I did, the Transformer's name is RC. And when she is en route, she breaks off into 3 different motorcycles, a purple, a pink, and a blue one. And I'm the hologram girl on the blue motorcycle. And just the whole outfit, the scene, filming and doing all of the stunts, the riding on gravel in the steel mills in Pennsylvania, just the whole setup was amazing. It was really cool to see the whole production. So that's probably my favorite one. But I mean, I did Lost. And so I pistol whipped somebody that was digging my grave, in the sand. So that was fun. There's just, it's a fun day at work to be thrown downstairs and fight and wreck motorcycles.
I remember that scene from Lost.
Do you?
I did. I just
Hi.
watched it again just a couple of years ago. Because I had forgotten things that happened. It was like, all right, well, it's on streaming. I'll watch it. So everybody go watch Lost. Everybody go watch Transformers. Look for Lauren on the motorcycle in Transformers. Now, I didn't know about the roller derby thing. Somehow that never came up in our previous conversations. What was your roller derby name? Can you tell us?
So I played flat track roller derby. So we didn't have the banks. It was flat track. And I was a jammer. So I'm the one that's going around scoring the points that everybody's trying to kill. And my roller derby name was Lil Bit Crazy. My initials are LBC. My nickname has always been LBC. And I'm a bit crazy. So LIL' bit crazy was my roller derby name.
That is super fun. I love when we get out because I don't know how much the audience knows about this. We always do a pre-call with our guests so we can. I mean, our guests have done so much normally. We need to narrow down what we're going to talk about on this podcast,
right.
And so that's why we do a pre-call. But the roller derby thing didn't come up, so I love when fun things that didn't come up during the pre-call come up during the show.
Yeah, and it really shapes who you are. All your little pockets of life really shape the direction that you go. And who would have thought that me buying a motorcycle at 20 years old would have resulted in me moving to LA and having a career in health and fitness and entrepreneurship? But that's really how I got from A to Z so far.
So you didn't even start riding until you were 20?
Correct. I was always a passenger, through high school. My boyfriend at the time had a motorcycle when I was 18. So maybe I bought it when I was 19. I bought it when I was 19. And
did you just start doing stunts right away once you got a motorcycle?
I was often the passenger of stunting. So once I got the hang of riding, the stunts just came kind of natural. I already knew what to expect, the velocity, the momentum, the weight exchange, what to expect, how it feels when you go too far. So I kind of got into it naturally.
That sounds like a pretty easy transition because you'd been on motorcycles doing stunts before. It was just like,
right. And I didn't love being on the back. I mean, I rode as a passenger for maybe a year and I was like, all right, I'm so tired of this. I got to get my own. So I liked being in control of my own bike.
All right. Well, that was motorcycle chat for the folks who are looking for the leader's mindset. As you said, the pockets of your life leads you to a lot of different things and opportunities. Yeah. The pockets of your life have led you to founding the Million Mile Project. What's Million Mile Project? What's the goal? How did it get started?
Yeah, so the Million Mile Project is a nonprofit that we help those that struggle with substance use disorder get access to treatment. And then once they are complete treatment, we mentor them as they're trying to get back on their feet. So a big barrier to entry is financial. A lot of programs are 28 to 45 days long that insurance will pay for. And oftentimes that's just not enough. I'm going to be honest, most of the time that's just not enough. After 30 days, somebody's just landed, just getting clear-headed. And so we don't even partner with programs that are less than 90 days, but we'll scholarship the individual into a program. Oftentimes I'll go see them when they are in the program, just to let them know that they have that additional support along with their family. And it's interesting because a lot of times they just don't understand why this stranger cares about them, because to society, they are thrown away. They're a quote junkie. And so being that organization that not just scholarships you, but wants to see you through the process. And then once you complete the program, come alongside you and help you rebuild, whether that's getting your driver's license, cleaning up your credit, learning basic budgeting skills, getting into a career, not just a job to barely pay your bills, but a career with a livable wage and something that you're proud to wake up and focus on each day. Sometimes that's helping them find a place that is in an environment to live conducive to their sobriety. A lot of times, though, that's cleaning up their credit and learning basic budgeting skills first. So there's a lot of life skills that even somebody that doesn't struggle with addiction struggle with, cleaning up their credit and basic budgeting skills. A lot of people have that struggle. But then add on top of that the life skills that you lose or forget or are rusty during active addiction, and then trying to rebuild that on top of rebuilding your relationship with your family and loved ones and yourself. It's challenging. And so to have a mentor come alongside you, we're not your sponsor, we're not your parents, we don't know what you did in your past, we just know who you are today, who you want to be, and we're going to help you get there, is a breath of fresh air to people. And it encourages them in ways that a sponsor or a family member or someone like that can't really connect with them. And it's been proven to be very successful in helping them maintain their sobriety, but they have to be continuing their program. They have to be working on their sobriety first.
Yeah,
So
I think it's great that you've kind of approached this from there's no finish lines in this, right? We talk about this podcast a lot about there's no finish lines in leadership. There's no day and anyone ever sticks a cap on your head and gives you a diploma and says you're a leader now. You have no more to learn, right? And you have taken a similar approach. Is when you come out of your other program, that's not a finish line. That's really a start line.
Yeah, and the programs that we partner with, that they even say that just because you commenced or completed a program, that's your start line. Like now you're starting, and so I started that though because I have a loved one that struggled with addiction. He's in recovery. And I was that family member that watched this loved one struggle for so many years. The addiction took over. You see all of they're trying it, they're white knuckling it, they're trying to stop. They won't admit it to themselves. And then when he finally was ready and to get help and finally admitted that he had a problem, that's when we started doing the research and tried to find help and get him into a program. And we were constantly met with that daunting price of entry. $35,000 for a 30-day program, $50,000. And we didn't have it. And so to watch my loved one in a fetal position on the ground, begging for help, wishing he could be anywhere else but that place, that moment, and feeling that way, and having to tell him that we couldn't help him was heartbreaking. And so over the years, I watched so many people I knew struggle with the same addiction and the family struggling with the same issues that we were. And suddenly, somehow, I just became that person that friends and acquaintances referred other friends and acquaintances to because they knew I had gone through it. And they were just hoping that I could be of support or resources to them. And that became so natural and so common that I was like, wow, I've always wanted to do something in this space. But because I myself have never struggled with active addiction, I myself am not in recovery, how could I possibly help that demographic? So for years, I wanted to step into this space, but I didn't know how. And then naturally, God was like, this is how. You are struggling with the disease because it's not an individual's disease. It's a family disease. You are in recovery, not from you personally being in active addiction, but your loved one being in active addiction. And so I said, we need to help people. We need to be that resource to help families and individuals so that they don't have to look at their loved one and tell them they can't help. We have to be that resource for the person coming out of a program and not knowing where to start to rebuild their life. And so we are now 4 years old, coming up on 4 years, and we scholarship individuals and mentor. And then we have what we call the M&P Insight Sessions, where they're educational Zoom meetings. We try to do them once a month, and we have different experts in different fields, whether it's insurance. We had a county detention center employee on our insight session one time, just giving us a lot of insight about how people get stuck in the system, what it looks like to work with a public defender and their experience when they get out, what challenges they face. So we're really just trying to educate the community, educate the nation, really, because without the education, whether you deal with it personally or not, it's always going to be stigmatized. Nobody's really going to know how to help their loved one when they come across it. So we do a lot of other things too, but that's mainly it.
Yeah, congratulations on 4 years. It's hard getting
Thanks.
something like this off the ground. It's hard keeping it going. I understand Million Mile Project is almost all volunteer based.
It is all volunteer based. Yes. Even
What
myself.
what is different about leading a team that's all volunteers?
Well, when you work with volunteers, you have a lot of people that have the desire and the urge to help, right? They want to be mentors. They want to host a race for you. They want to help get the word out. They want to be ambassadors. But when it comes to them actually showing up, you are last on their list because their family, their job, their income, their other obligations in life do come first. And so when you are running a program that is based fully on volunteers, there's not a lot of consistent support. There's not a lot of people that you can really count on. I will tell you, so every year we have what's called the Hope Dinner, and it's a fundraising dinner. It's in October. And I know that one time a year, my family, my closest friends, I mean, they are boots on the ground because I'm in Los Angeles and this dinner is in South Carolina, where I'm from. And I mean, without them, I couldn't do it. I mean, they show up, they leave work early, they take off of work, they are using every skill that they have to pull this together. And every year it's over 100 people, an amazing dinner. We raise money. It's a great educational evening, inspiring speakers. And so when it comes to something like that, people show up. But when it comes to the day-to-day, the mentorships, the hosting an event, that kind of thing, it's like pulling bricks through mud, to be honest. To be honest.
I've learned in other organizations that are volunteer or like member-led organizations that I've been part of, you have to cast a really wide net. You have to always be looking for new volunteers. You always have to be looking for that additional help. You can't ever sit back and go, okay, I've got everybody I need. And you can't ever be too proud to call somebody back and say, hey, I know it's been a while, but can you help us out with this?
Right. Yeah. I volunteer twice a week at a dog shelter here in Los Angeles, and I treat it like a job. Like I am Monday mornings and Friday mornings. And, but if job has me super busy or on a meeting that morning, I can't go. Or if I'm out of town, I can't go. So I understand, might be a little bit more diligent, and consistent with my volunteer hours than what I experience with mine. But at the same time, we're just grateful for the time that people do support us and do want to help. And we go through ebbs and flows too. When it's around the LA Marathon or the Hope Dinner or a launch of something, we need more support. When we have 3 people commencing a program that want mentors, we need more mentors. But then we might go 3 months and we don't have anything for the mentors to do. So that falls on us also, because we're not consistent in our needs either, because we're not needed consistently. I mean, we are, but the needs are not always so consistent from us as well.
It's definitely a challenge, but that gratitude of, well, we do have people who do want to help, and I always find you can't keep going to the same well over and over again. You've got to keep looking for new folks who are enthusiastic about the mission and want to help.
Right, and I do have a handful of people who I know I can call at any time of day. Our board members are great like that, as far as if I have a question, if I need support or guidance in their area of expertise, I know I can always give them a call. We've got a woman that's pretty much now my right-hand man. I had I say a business partner, but it's the nonprofit partner. Unfortunately, he passed away due to the disease, and he was such an amazing, beautiful person. But his mom was very active with MMP, is what we call the Million Mile Project, was very active in volunteering and being an ambassador for the Million Mile Project before he passed away, because he was such so involved and such an advocate for what we did. And so when he passed, I feel like she dove in even more. It was her who started the MMP Insight Sessions. And she's in New York, and she met with the DEA up there and talked about MMP. She has set up tables on our behalf, talking about MMP for different events in New York City. So she's incredible. But the board and she are great. When I reach out and I need something, they're always there. My parents, my sister, my brother, they're always there as well.
What are some of the other challenges you faced in the 4 years you've been running all of this?
I think any nonprofit, especially small, I'm not talking about huge organizations that are known nationwide that are supported financially by large corporations. I'm talking about the small people, boots on the ground. I think we all share in that fundraising is our number one obstacle. We can't do our service without the funds. So that slows us down. And so, it's learning to be strategic with what you do bring in. When his name was Vinny, but when Vinny passed away, I took it really hard. I didn't know how I was going to do his job within the organization and my job. And so it was juggling that and learning to work with what you could do. And I just had to really lean in and say, you know what, sometimes we have to slow down in order to speed up. And if that was our year to do that, then, embrace it, do what you can, and the impact will continue to grow. And it has. We were able to grow in different ways. And because I wasn't able to focus on fundraising and marketing and outreach as much as I was when he was doing 50% of the work with me, I just leaned into what I could control. And then we were able to impact in different ways, different educational ways. And we were able to impact communities on a more personal level rather than wide scale, which is actually a really good thing. So I would say for nonprofits, fundraising is probably always the biggest struggle. But apart from that, it's getting your name out there, being louder than the flashy stuff that's out there. I mean, let's get real. Substance use disorder, addiction, it's not a sexy topic. It's not something that you talk about at the dinner table. It's not something that you talk about at, we're not feeding starving children and saving puppies here. So, but
yeah, you guys,
everybody's experiencing it.
Commercials for you, right?
Right. The commercials that are about our struggle are not something you really even want to watch, but we have yet to connect with somebody who has not experienced it somehow. It's affecting every family in some way right now. Well, so though people don't want to talk about it, it's helpful.
And I find this is one of those issues when people watch their local TV news, or they read the newspaper, however they get their news, they always say in their mind that someone should do something about this, right? This is a big problem. Someone should do something about this. And you're doing something about it.
Right. Yeah. I live in Los Angeles. You see homelessness all the time. Do they have mental health issues? Yes. Are people homeless for reasons unrelated to drugs? Yes. But you can pick it out if somebody's on the curb and they are in active addiction. And we are that program that helps that family get that person help when they're ready. And so if we connect with families, then they're like, we've had many people call, my son's in active addiction, or my father uses, I don't know what to do. Our job in that moment is to educate that person first, give them the tools so that when that loved one is ready, they can move immediately, because that time is fleeting. That person might be ready one day and then change his mind the next. He might be on his knees praying to God that he wants help. And if you tell him we don't have the money, like we had to tell our loved ones, they're just going to go back to using. They're helpless. They're hopeless. And so we are that impact when that family is ready to make moves. They've now been educated and equipped with their options to help their loved one when they're ready. And so you're right. People are like, somebody needs to do something. And yet a lot of nonprofits, it's not just us. It's not just substance use disorder. nonprofits are doing something about it. So support them, whatever that cause is. It could be children, it could be puppies, it could be cancer, it could be ocean cleanup, whatever it is. If you're walking on the ocean and you're complaining about the trash, well, then go on Sunday mornings when that nonprofit is out there picking up the ocean. Like, pitch in, or if you can't donate your time, donate some funds. $10 a month from 100 people goes a long way. But yeah, people like to sit back and complain. Somebody needs to do something about it, and then not support the very foundations that are doing something about it.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Or when you're down on the beach and you see a piece of trash, you could pick it up and put it in the trash. You don't need to look at it and say someone should do something about this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that could be a whole other podcast.
Yeah, I think that's a series we might have to do. One of the things we do like to talk about in this podcast is how leaders like you are developing the future leaders in their organizations. So how are you developing future leaders for a Million Mile Project? What do you look for in emerging leaders? What traits, what skills are you looking for when you choose someone for a leadership position? And what do you feel like you need to help people develop to become leaders as well?
So I think with mine, every situation is unique, right? But I think with mine specifically is when someone comes to me, one of two things. They know how drawn I am to this, and how, if they know me personally, they know that I'm very on my game. I see things through. I don't know that I'm a perfectionist, but it does make people kind of timid to come to me with an idea that they want to execute. And what they don't realize is I want people to say, I want to do this for MMP, and I'll take the lead on it. And so for me right now, it's giving people that autonomy and letting them know, like, if you have this idea, great. I don't have any space on my plate to do it, but we need this. So take it. But you have to see it through, run it through. And so in order to develop leaders in this space, the Million Mile Project specifically is just giving people that green light. And, on a podcast that you had a few weeks ago, it was talking about, it was the gentleman that was talking about, in the workforce, you titled it differently, but like the disciplinary, the guide, and the something else. There were 3 different levels in leadership. And
we had the hero, the villain, and the guide. That was Andrew Oxley.
That was it.
Last week? Well, by the time you were all getting this, it will be several months in the past. But that was the Andrew Oxley episode, yeah.
Yeah, that was such a great one. And the villain, the guide, and what was the hero, the villain, the hero, and the guide. And so, it's being the guide and just being intentional, but it's giving them that autonomy. It's letting them come up with their ideas and try it. And if it fails, like, you just failed forward. You didn't fail backwards. You didn't make the whole place crumble. So it's giving them permission. Another thing is, I've got 3 nieces. 1 is in college, 2 are in high school. And at the time, all 3 were in college when we had our first Hope dinner. And they helped. They helped check people in. They helped people with the raffle tickets. They helped at dinner. And so it's helping the younger generation in whatever capacity I can to get in front of people, because nowadays, if they're not in front of their screen or their computers, they don't know how to communicate. And so I took it upon myself to just include my nieces. 1, it's educating them on drugs, and in a way that they don't have that access to in schools. But 2, it's giving them that ability to speak to adults and be part of an event. And it's really helped them in the job force as well.
That's fantastic. All right. I want to take a break from the serious questions. I want to play a game with you. Are you up for a game?
Let's do it.
All right.
Do I win a prize?
I mean, you win the prize, and everyone watching this or listening to this gets to know more about you, which is what I'm doing. That's the prize I get. So
let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, the name of this game is Rapid Response. I'm going to ask you a series of questions. I want you to respond with the first thing that comes to mind. Don't be fooled by the word rapid. You don't need to give one-word answers. You're not really on a clock, although if you're watching this or listening to this later, you will hear like the TikTok music behind it, the time passing music, not TikTok like the social media app. But we just want to get to know you a little bit. So feel free to elaborate as much or as little as you'd like. And we're just looking for the first thing that comes to mind, okay?
Okay.
All right. Lauren Cashatt, rapid response round. Your time begins now. A podcast recommendation.
Ooh. Besides yours?
Besides mine. The whole point of this question is I'm looking for new podcasts to listen to.
I've been listening to a lot of Emily Ford's Called and Crowned, because she's very much focused on business, entrepreneurship, brand, but also has a twist of her personal experience, faith-driven, and a lot of purpose as well. So that's a good one. It's Called and Crowned by Emily Ford.
Okay, I don't know that one, so I'll check that out.
Yeah.
What is a practice you'd like to see more people embrace?
Self-care. For sure. And I don't mean eating healthy and working out. I mean, taking a walk, not just for the exercise, but for the mental capacity. Leaning into self-care more and listening to others. We have 2 ears, 1 mouth, listening to others.
Yeah, be nice to yourself, folks. Who is someone we should all be paying attention to?
This one kind of stumps me.
Who's someone you're paying attention to?
I kind of cut out a lot of noise. Other than, I'll tell you this. If there's something that I'm wanting to do, whether it's grow a business, start a nonprofit, I seek those who have gone first and are successful, and that's who I follow at that time. That's who I'm paying attention to. Those are the podcasts that I'm listening to. Those are the news articles that I'm reading about. And because, like we talked about earlier, I feel like I've had so many different lives. So that person that I listen to has been different. Right this second, I'm in a phase in life where I'm working on multiple things, and I just need to cut out the noise. So I'm not scrolling Instagram. I'm not seeking for new podcasts, because I feel like the more I take in, the more jumbled my internal thoughts are, and I can't really focus on my own. So right now I'm looking to me, but that changes with the different phases of life or what I'm building and focused on at the time.
That's a great answer.
I will tell you this, though. Turn off the news. Turn off the news. Don't follow the news right now.
or at least cut way back on it, right?
Right. I mean, you do need to be aware of what's going on, but
you might want to be aware of that road construction on your route to work tomorrow, but that's about
very
it.
True. Very true. Yeah, Google Maps helps with that too.
What's your get pumped up song or your walk on music?
Probably my walkout music. Who is it? It's a female artist. Oh gosh, Impossible. Oh man, I'm butchering this. I'm Unstoppable. Who sings that? Do you know? It's a female. Listeners, I'm Unstoppable.
Yeah, I've lost all ability to know who artists and albums and all. When we went from actually having to buy albums and CDs and they stopped telling us on the radio who was singing what. When we got into the streaming music era, I lost all ability to know who's singing what ever, along with the ability to remember phone numbers. That is long gone as well. So.
Oh, I feel you. Yes, I think it's Sia. I'm Unstoppable. I think the artist is Sia, but I'm Unstoppable. But music in general, I enjoy country. I listen to worship music. I listen to ratchet rap music. I'm all over the board. Again, depending on my focus is that chapter and my mood that day. So.
Yeah, we find our guests cast a pretty wide net in their musical taste, along with their reading preferences, their podcast preferences. That's just what we find on here is people are our guests, the leaders out there that we're interviewing are looking really far and wide for influences.
Yeah.
And speaking of influences, what's the biggest influence in your life? Or who?
I'd have to say my mom. And that might sound cliche, and everybody who says their parent, one or the other, has the similar reasons, but I think I am the way I am today because my mom was a single mom of 3 young kids, and I saw her go from stay-at-home mom to working, to providing for us what I never saw possible, but it was because of her work ethic. And she wasn't a mom that she didn't love bomb us, for example, but people have asked me, it wasn't until my adult years that I realized it was because of my mom and my whole family in general. They're very supportive, but it wasn't a, you can be whoever you want when you grow up. We never got that. Like, I'm an 80s kid. We didn't get that type of conversation and communication from our parents, but it was in their actions that told me I can do whatever I want. I can be whoever I want to be, think outside the box. And I never felt like I shouldn't take risks. I mean, I moved across the country at 24 years old, not knowing anyone by myself. And it's not because my family didn't care. They were so sad to see me leave, but they knew that I had a good head on my shoulders and that I could always come back, you know? And my mom put $50 in my bank account every week just to make sure I ate until I got on my feet. She would be on the phone with me crying after the 2-week vacation wore off. And I'm like, what did I do? I want to come home. But yeah, it's my mom. It's my mom.
That's great. A book everyone should read.
Well, this aligns with the Million Mile Project. It's called Chasing the Scream. And it is by Joanne, do I have it? Hari, Hari. But it is a great story, also documentary about, honestly, drug use in the streets of Portland, Oregon is where the setting is. But I learned so much about the history of drugs and coming into the States. And it's just a very interesting book. There's a lot of intimate moments where you get to learn about an individual, but then also broader moments where it scales out and talks about the nation and the struggle with drug addiction in general.
That sounds fascinating. Your favorite recreational activity?
Dance. Growing up dancing, hip-hop dancing is my favorite. Club dancing I love to do, but I haven't in years. Just not part of my lifestyle anymore. But dance would probably be my favorite.
The club scene in LA is dead, so...
Right, health clubs are much more poppin' than the nightclubs here.
Do you still ride the motorcycles?
You know, I sold my motorcycle a few years ago because riding in the open roads of the Carolinas is very different than the traffic of LA. And people are like, oh, just go on the PCH, ride the canyons. Well, you have to get to the PCH and to the canyons. And it's during that time that your life is flashing before your eyes. So I sold it because it just wasn't something that I enjoyed. I didn't have my bike crew here, you know, my friends, my close people that you trust riding with. You can't just ride with a bunch of strangers. People don't know how to ride, or they're new to riding, or they're weaving in front of you. It was just too much. So I was riding by myself, and that's dangerous. So I actually sold it to a good friend of mine who I worked with at the time. And I kid you not, within 2 weeks of him having it, he was riding to work at 7:30 in the morning, and somebody was stuck behind a bus here in LA, and the car just came out from behind the bus really quickly, didn't see that he was in that lane, and hit him, totaled the bike. He still doesn't have full function of his right hand. And I was like, wow, that is why I sold my bike. And now my bike is no longer even in existence.
In California, and the traffic is a mess out there, and nobody's looking out for motorcyclists.
And it's gotten so much worse since everybody's on their phone. Yeah. And even the touch screens in the car, that's distracting to people too. Mm-hmm. It's, yeah. So though I miss my riding days, they were some of the most fun and exhilarating days, probably my favorite chapter of my life. Not something I miss enough to try to get back. That ship has sailed.
What is your dream vacation spot?
I would love to go on a safari in South Africa to see the animals and their natural habitats, and that's on my bucket list. toured Asia, gone to Paris, um, I do a lot of travel, but haven't made it to South Africa yet. That's on the list.
All right. I think that's the first time we've heard that.
Yeah?
Yeah. What's a trend you're excited about?
I don't know. I don't really follow trends.
We hear that sometimes.
Yeah, I don't really follow trends. I mean, I love that health is trending over the past 10 and more years. Even with that, it's got some issues. But I'm in the health and fitness field for the past like 20 years, probably 18 years. Yeah, I don't really follow too many trends. So I'm not really excited. I'm excited skinny jeans are out.
One of the things that's really encouraging about health and fitness as a trend right now is that a lot of younger people are paying a lot more attention to it than I think when people my age when we were younger people. We did. It was yeah, I should run or I should work out, but we still kept going out and partying and drinking. And younger people are thinking more holistically about their health, I think.
Right. Well, then I do have a trend actually. More people are not drinking as much as they were. And so, whether in your 40s or your 50s or your 20s, like you were saying, more health focused activities, it's still there, obviously, but you hear a lot more of activities that don't involve alcohol being top of mind or being priority rather than always going out for a drink or always having alcohol involved. And that honestly, it could just be the space that I'm in, so I'm more aware of it, but it is trending. It is trending.
I will tell you, I live in Las Vegas and it's definitely a trend here. So I don't think it's just the space you're in. I think especially younger people are paying a lot more attention to how they want to feel the next morning versus what they want to do tonight.
Right. Yes. That's definitely a trend I can get behind.
All right. Last one. Your favorite sports team or player?
I love professional football. And I grew up being a Steelers household. So I would say that's my favorite team. That's really the only one that I pay attention to and how they're doing. But I've never had a favorite player. Yeah.
It's okay. The reason we asked that question that way is because when I first started asking, it was always your favorite sports team. Mm-hmm. And then what I was finding is I was asking is people are into a lot different sports than team sports. They're into tennis, they're into golf, they're into all kinds of other, there's cycling, all these things where the player, the individual is kind of prominent. So that's why we ask it that way.
Yeah. There's some different athletes in general that I might not seek out information on, but if I see them in the headlines, I open it because I'm interested in that person. But there's not one specific one that I follow.
All right. Well, thanks for playing our game. It was nice to get to know you a little bit.
Yeah.
To get back to it, we talked about Million Mile Project, but in addition to that, you do coaching and retreats for powerhouse women. So tell us how you got into that and tell us how you help women and the men that you do coach as well.
Yeah. So like I said, I've been in health and fitness for about 18 years. So coaching people through their lifestyle has been something I focused on for years, not just in the gym, but what they're doing outside the gym too. So lifestyle habits in general. But then along with that, I myself have started 2 businesses. I've started a nonprofit. And so just like I said, people started coming to me as a resource for their loved one being in active addiction. People started coming to me for help starting their business or their idea and how to get it off the ground. And, how do you form an LLC and what legal stuff did you go through and things like that. And so I've helped a few people at the time. I had helped a few people get their businesses off the ground. One is a friend of mine. She owns a dog walking business, moved into dog grooming. So everything from her systems to her CRMs to her contracts, pricing, marketing, things like that. I've helped her. And then after a while, I also helped my sister do the same thing with her personal training company. I love it. And so I help men and women come up with or they have the idea, but I help them pave a way to executing it and really putting down on paper, all right, this is your idea, but what comes before the launch? You got to consider all these things before you can even decide if it's really a business that you want to launch or not. Right now, I'm helping somebody who wants to start a coffee shop in New York City. It's a huge feat. And there's a lot of things that she has not considered. And so each week when we meet, Thursdays at 11, we have a different focus. And she's got homework and there's some research that I do for her and we come together. But it's seeing somebody who has a dream and putting that execution plan before them, but also all the things that they need to consider and look into to determine if this is really what they want. The pipe dream sounds nice, but when you actually look at all of the things you have to do to make it come true, some people are like, oh, whoa, I'm not ready for that. Or they're like, yes, game on, bet, let's do this. And so it's helping them move forward with that. But in addition to that, it's making sure that their lifestyle aligns with what that goal is. Because if your lifestyle doesn't support where you're trying to go, you'll never get there.
Yeah, I think that's really important. We're living in a time, I'm an entrepreneur. I love entrepreneurship. We're living in a time where I think our society, especially here in the United States, over glamorizes entrepreneurship. And we talk about the upsides of it. We talk about the freedom that comes with it, sort of. But we don't always hear people talking about the hard work, especially in the beginning, that comes to entrepreneurship. And I think it's really important and really great that you're having these conversations with people of, you've got this great goal. This is a great dream. We'd love to help you achieve it. But are you prepared to shift your lifestyle to do this?
Right. You see on social media all the time, somebody like has their laptop on the beach and it's like, this is what entrepreneurship is. And I'm like, that is not entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is pulling my butt out of bed at 2 a.m. because I forgot to send a marketing email to someone that I promised by 5. Entrepreneurship is looking at the funds that you should have that you don't have and how you're going to allocate funds going forward to make sure that that exists in the future. Like, entrepreneurship is wearing all hats at one time until you can raise enough funds to actually bring on even a virtual assistant. Entrepreneurship is not glamorous. And so, yes, to your point, we do over glamorize it and people don't hear the realistic side of it. And even apart from that, you even hear like, I want to work for myself. Well, if you're in any sort of service, you have hundreds of bosses. You don't work for yourself, but, I think that by getting down to the wire with the person and figuring out and letting them figure out for themselves also what all goes into making this dream come true, it can be very deflating and it can be discouraging. But on the other side of that, if that person is still like, yes, I want to do this, then they have the drive to see it forward. That's how I was with the Million Mile Project. I had every reason in the world not to start a nonprofit. You're not in active addiction. You've never started a nonprofit. You live in Los Angeles. If you know anything about starting a business or a nonprofit in Los Angeles, there's just a lot of red tape. And, I had all the reasons in the world not to start it. But none of that mattered because you'll go around the mountain, over the mountain, or through the mountain. And I was ready to go through the mountain. And so when somebody is ready to face their dreams and goals with that mindset, then it's go time. And so, we just lay it all out there for them and help them put the pieces together. And then once they're ready to execute, we're there to help them do it.
Yeah.
And so the retreats brings women together that are in the same boat. They might be on different chapters of their journey, but getting a room full of people together that have been through similar journeys, that all need the marketing, all need the pricing, all need the contracts, all need, it's inspiring and you learn so much from one another.
Yeah, tell us what happens at the retreats. Tell us what someone can expect if they're coming to your retreat, and tell us some of the wins that some of your attendees have had over the years.
Okay, so there is a lifestyle aspect to it. So, for example, we don't provide alcohol at the treats. They're usually 3 nights. They're in some sort of scenic place. The last one was in the Outer Banks. It was this huge home on the ocean, and everybody has their own bedroom, bathroom, so they have their personal space. But we had someone that was there cooking, providing the food, providing the snacks, providing the drinks, did all the grocery shopping, and then we went out to dinner one night, the last night. And if people want to order drinks when we go out to dinner, that's perfectly fine and normal. But we are not providing alcohol in the home because we want everybody like waking up early, feeling their sharpest, being focused. Why would we provide the very thing that hinders performance? So what we eat, what we serve is part of that lifestyle. We want to make sure that people have enough downtime for their own self-care. We had people wake up early in the morning. A few of us did a cold plunge in the ocean. It was early March, so it was 41 degrees outside. I don't even know what the water was, but we did a cold plunge that morning. We did walks in the afternoon. So there's the lifestyle aspect, and then we had the workshop. So you can bring a topic of your own to speak on, whatever area of expertise you have. And then we have a lot of collaboration time. So one of my favorite stories is we had a photographer. This was last year's Outer Banks retreat. And when she came, we always find out what is something that you want to make sure that you complete or tackle while you're here. And hers was pricing and a new contract. And it's just something that she hasn't stopped long enough to replace her old contracts and pricing. So before you know it, she's a year down the road and she still has the same contract and pricing. And she's like, I've got to upgrade this. And she completed it. She pitched her new prices, and we're all in a group chat afterwards. And within a month of being there, her new prices were so well accepted. She had new contracts. She felt like she launched her business forward by taking those 3 days off. Another story, we had a nonprofit executive director at our retreat, and social media is such a bane of people's existence. And before she left, because I had gone through this, I had set her up with social media marketing. She had done her onboarding call at the retreat, and she had her, next month's social media marketing plan already written. And so it just really launches you forward in whatever it is that you feel is hindering you at the time. There's a lot of community and collaboration that goes on. And the biggest thing that people like is the support afterwards. We just had one in the Outer Banks this past March, and we have a group thread. And one of the attendees, she is a hairstylist, and she has this Airstream, and she wants to be a mobile hairstylist. She wants to leave the salon behind. And so her goal is to, by a certain date, have that Airstream up and going and ready. And so we're all asking for pictures and asking for updates and holding each other accountable. So that's been, it's such a labor of love, but there's a lot of impact and reward that comes from it.
That's a fantastic idea. The mobile hair and makeup Airstream.
I know.
We have a lot of events here in Las Vegas, as most people know, and a lot of them involve young women who are attending the events as models or atmosphere or whatever it is, and they're always trying to figure out, I got to get a hotel room, I got to get a makeup artist, I got to organize all these logistics so that I can be part of this thing. And if you've got a hair and or makeup artist coming to you in an Airstream, and all you've got to do is walk out of the Airstream and walk into the convention center for the event, you have saved yourself a ton of time and trouble.
Absolutely. I mean, picture doing a wedding. You just pull up to whether it's a hotel, the venue, whatever, and the girls come out to you rather than, I know when I got married, I designated a space for us all to get ready in. The Airstream, that's where it is now. Yeah, it's incredible. It's a great idea.
That's fantastic. I think that's a winner. That is a winner.
I know.
She's her biggest problem is she's going to have too much work. She's going to have to franchise it out.
Yep. Yeah.
So we've talked a lot about human connection, doing things for people. We also have a big tech audience on this podcast. How are you incorporating new tech into Million Mile Project, into your business, into helping your clients, and into your personal life?
AI is just taking off, and I really tote the line. I'm like, am I a fan? Am I not? Am I a fan? Am I not? I think that it helps with systems. It can help you AI specifically can help you in building your plan. It's obviously not going to take the place of the human connection, of the human touch. You can tell when something is written with AI and when it's not. And so I have utilized it for different tactics. Like if I want to build a skeleton portion of a plan, like an idea that I have, I'm very detailed in what I put so that it's more my idea and not just the AI's idea. But I have leaned into that to explore different business endeavors, or if I need numbers pulled from a report and things like that. AI is the first thing that comes to mind when you talk about tech right now.
Yeah, I
Which
think AI
scares
is
me.
great. I think it's a tool like anything else, right? You know, at
Yeah.
some point you go from using a hand screwdriver to getting a power drill to screw things into the wall if you have to do it enough. And that's kind of where I am with AI. I've really been leaning into creating AI agents. Like for the podcast, now I have a whole AI agent system that when people write in to request to be on the podcast, it reads the email, it alerts me about the email, it summarizes the email, it helps me set up the pre-call with the guest. It automates so much of that stuff so I can spend more time talking to people instead of digging through emails and sending links and setting things up. And it's been really great.
Right. And that system knows what you're looking for. And the more you work with it, the more it develops,
Yep.
rather than hiring that person and constantly having to critique.
Yeah.
It's scary. It's scary. And also it's scary what it's capable of. When I say scary, meaning like scary, how vast and how capable it is. But it is taking a lot of the workforce, but at the same time, I think it's developing a lot of jobs for us all too.
I think it's freeing up a lot more people's time to think about what they really should be doing versus all the things they have to do. And I think that's a net positive. But the caveat is, remember, this is just a tool. Don't let it run your life.
Exactly. Don't let it, in my case, don't let it write your report or come up with your business idea. Like, you've got to tell it what to do. It can just refine it or help you get the systems in place for it.
All right. So what's coming up for you in the next few months?
Actually, I will be starting my podcast. And that's going to be focused on lifestyle and business and how the two really coexist and have to coexist. So other than that, really just focusing on my business consulting and lifestyle consulting. And that's been my focus the past month and will be through the end of the year.
Fantastic.
And of course, the Million Mile Project. We've got the Hope Dinner coming up in October. So it's 5 months out as of now that we're recording this. So there's lots of work to be done. So that's going to be probably my full-time focus.
Yep. Well, I think this episode will be out long before October. So if you're interested in the Hope Dinner, we're going to put all Lauren's links and stuff into the episode description so you can get connected up with Million Mile Project and get yourself a ticket to the Hope Dinner. And look forward to when your podcast is out. Please let me know. I look forward to listening or watching, however you set that up.
Wonderful. Thank you. And yeah, there's so much involved with the Million Mile Project, whether people want to get involved in person or, we do serve the nation. So they can always check out the website, themillionmileproject.org. They will reach out to me, and conversation about this topic is near and dear to my heart. So don't be afraid to reach out.
All right. As we wrap up, do you have any other last advice for emerging leaders or entrepreneurs out there?
You got to jump in and do it, but also keep your cards close. Nobody understands your vision and your path like you do. So like I said earlier, seek out those who went before you who are successful and find out what they did. That needs to be who you're looking to for guidance. Your family, your loved ones, they don't mean any harm, but they are going to tell you why you shouldn't do the business. They're going to tell you why you shouldn't chase the dream because they are trying to protect you. But we don't need that. We need people who have done it before, who have been in our shoes, who can show us the way. And, with the Million Mile Project, one day I had a nonprofit, the next day I did. People are like, how did you do that? Because I didn't talk about it. I didn't talk about one day I'm going to do this or I'm building a nonprofit. One day I I said I have a nonprofit and it existed. They didn't see the months of work because I didn't need anyone telling me why I didn't need to start this nonprofit. I was so convicted as to why I needed to start this nonprofit and the impact we were going to make. And that conviction is what kept me going. And I reached out to people who had started nonprofits who could guide me, and I did. So jump in, but keep your cards close.
Well, that's a perfect place to leave it. Thank you so much for joining us today, Lauren. This has been a real pleasure. Where can everyone find you so they can also thank you for joining us?
You can find me on Instagram _LBC. Do you remember what it's for? LBC.
A little bit crazy.
Yes, a little bit crazy. And my initials, Lauren Brooke Cashatt. So it's _LBC, and then my website, laurencashatt.com.
All right. Thank you so much, Lauren. It was great to have you today. I want to thank all of you for watching and listening, however you're getting this podcast. If you found it valuable, go ahead and share it with someone who can use it. Leave us a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. And since I'm asking everybody for favors, please give us a 5-star review if you're on a platform where you can leave a review. It really helps us build the audience and get these great conversations like the one we just had with Lauren out to more people. So we do have a lot more amazing interviews coming your way. Go out there, do great things today. Onward and upward.